In this video, we're going to take a look at the Momcozy versus TSRETE wearable breast pumps. Now, the Momcozy does have several wearable breast pumps in their range. This is the S9 Pro, they have the S12 Pro, as well as the M5. However, when we're talking about the TSRETE S12, the most comparable for price as well as functionality is the Momcozy S9 Pro. So these are the two that we are going to compare in our Momcozy versus TSRETE comparison. So if we start, you can see that both are pretty similar in size. Oops, if I can put that together. They are both pretty lightweight. If anything, the Momcozy is slightly heavier, but if you can see, it does have a slightly larger battery. Now, if we talk in terms of what are the main differences between these two wearable breast pumps, the Momcozy S9 Pro has an extensive battery life. Now, the battery life on this is up to 180 minutes on one full charge. Now, that is fantastic for a wearable breast pump. That will give you 7 to 8 pumping sessions off the one charge, which is more than enough for multiple pumping throughout the day or even full-time pumping. In comparison, the TSRETE S12 only has up to 80 minutes of charge. So that's really only 3 to 4 pumping sessions. So if we're looking at battery life, the Momcozy wins hands down. Another main difference between the two is the suction power. Now, the Momcozy is up to 280 to 300 millimeters of mercury, whereas the TSRETE is not quite as powerful. It's only up to 245 millimeters of mercury. Now, suction power really is a personal preference. It doesn't mean that it is not going to be the best pump for you, because there's more than just suction strength when it comes to efficiency with your pumping your breast milk. So there's also comfort and other settings that come into play with what's going to be most efficient for you. But it is something to consider. When we look at the LED displays, you can see that the TSRETE is actually much larger. Now, I'm going to turn these on and it will be a bit flicky. In real life, this is nice constant. There is no flicking of the screen. You can see that the TSRETE has a timer. Now, I absolutely love that it has a timer function. This makes tracking your pumping session a lot easier. But again, you can do this off your phone. It's not something that's a necessity, but I do feel it is a really nice to have. In terms of screens and lighting, so the Momcozy will auto switch off its light after 15 seconds, whereas the TSRETE stays on all the time. I don't love that. I feel it impacts the discretion slightly, especially if you're wearing a transparent shirt or a really light colored shirt. That said, it's not a huge factor in the decision, but it is something you may want to consider as well. You can see both have the 4 buttons. Both are very easy to use. In terms of suction, so we talked about suction strength, but there's also the different suction levels. Both have 9 suction levels. Both have 2 different modes: the massage for letdown, as well as the stimulation or pumping mode for when you're into your milk expression stage. Other differences, they both come with a standard 24mm silicone flange. However, the TSRETE also has the option to purchase a 27mm when you're buying. Just make sure that you are buying the right flange size initially. The TSRETE only comes with one smaller flange size. So for this, it came with a 21mm additional flange insert, so you just pop that in and you can stack it for the smaller sizing. Whereas the Momcozy S9 comes with 3 smaller flange inserts. So if you're not 100% sure on what size you should be using, I feel the Momcozy has a little bit more of an advantage because it does give you those optional smaller sizes. It also comes with a really handy nipple sizing chart, which I think is a great feature, especially for first time pumpers that really aren't sure on what flange size you should be using. Other than that, the main difference between these two comes down to the price. Now, they are very similar. They are both budget wearable breast pumps. However, the TSRETE is cheaper. Now, I feel that you are getting a great budget pump with the TSRETE. I would be using this if you are a part-time or occasional pumper just looking for a wearable breast pump for convenience rather than full-time pumping. If you are going to be pumping on a much regular basis and are looking potentially even to be full-time pumping, I would definitely go with the Momcozy based on its battery life and stronger suction. Hope that helps.